Hello and welcome to Children's Hour. Just kidding. Seriously, this is so not Children's Hour. Nope. I'm Ileandra Young and this is part 3 of Slippers and Chains. Hello, welcome, thank you for joining me. I hope you've been enjoying the story so far. We are now on to part 3. As I mentioned, I'll still be reading it from my trusty Kindle. This is a handy piece of kit. It's also quite nice seeing how it's going to look when it's released as an ebook. Spoiler alert! But until that point, we're going to get it all read first, okay? So sit back, enjoy, kick your legs up, have a bottle of wine or two, get some chocolates or lots, and enjoy part 3 of Slippers and Chains. Karen says, "Help me." Shivering didn't seem to help. Karen rubbed her hands up and down her arms and rocked back and forth on her heels. She imagined that the clouds of her breath formed a warm cloak about her, and for a second or two she felt a little warmer. Then she hit her head on the top of the cage and the fantasy dissolved. She was cold and alone. Though not for long, by the sound of the front door opening. "Dan? Kaz? Pete?" Karen felt a rush of relief, followed by a sharp snap of fear. "Peter?" "Yeah, where are you?" She hesitated. When his footfalls pounded the stairs, it quickly became clear that she had little choice in the matter. "Bedroom." Her eyes closed, and she waited for the bomb to hit. The door creaked open. Pete's steps stopped. A strangled whimper quivered through the air. "Christ, are you okay?" Karen's eyes popped open. Pete stood before her with his mouth hanging open, face a queer shade of pale ash. "What are you doing in there? Did Dan do this to you? What's he playing at? Are you hurt? Will you calm down for a second? What's happening?" We were playing." "What are you on about?" "Playing?" Karen waggled her eyebrows. Pete gave her a blank look. "Oh, come on, Pete, connect the dots. Playing? Together? Me and Dan? In the bedroom?" Colour flooded back into his face, a hot, healthy red. "Oh." He puffed out his cheeks, tangled his fingers in his hair. "You play with cages?" "Sometimes." Karen glared at the floor. Not for the first time she remembered her initial reluctance about the idea, then Dan's glee as she relented. "Never again, though," she hissed. Silence stretched between them. When she next looked up, Karen realised that Pete was staring. She felt his eyes trace each line of her body like the crackling tip of a violet wand. It sent a similar charge through her body, and she ground her teeth. Surprise mingled with the pleasure she felt at being looked at. Then guilt chased away both. "Pete!" Her legs snapped together, arms crossed in front of her chest. "I'm naked!" she snapped. "Turn away, now!" He whirled round to face the door. Several spluttering sounds that might have been words came out. "Just calm down, Pete, please." "Dan said you needed help. He didn't tell me what was going on." "Of course he didn't. He might have said. What the hell am I supposed to do?" "Find the key." Karen risked looking away from him to scan the floor. "I can't see it, but it must be here somewhere. You need to let me out before he gets back with Julian and Maxine." Pete's head whipped round. "What the hell is he bringing them here for?" "Surprise visit." He faced forward again. "Kaz, when you say playing, do you mean—" "Really, Peter? You want to ask me this now?" "Sorry, I'll just look, shall I?" Back still turned carefully towards the cage, Pete began to scan the room. Karen watched him search, teeth grinding, body shivering. More than once she pointed out a nook or a corner into which a key might have fallen, but it soon became clear that the key was completely lost. Pete laid a bra wire, £2 coins and a tube of lube on the dresser. Then he began to clear the floor. Wishing the earth would open up and swallow her, Karen chewed her lip as Pete offered her the leather collar. A look of bewilderment crossed his face as he picked up a flail with leather straps and a wooden handle. After rooting around under the bed, he found not the key, but a brown plastic box attached to a plug. At one end, a long glass attachment with a bell end. "What the hell is this?" "A violet wand," Karen mumbled. "A what?" No, actually, I don't want to know." His hand shook as he released the last item. "I'm sorry, Kaz, I can't find this key anywhere. It's not here." A glance at the wall clock made Karen's stomach clench. "They'll be back soon. We don't have time." Pete, help me. Maxine can't see me like this." For the first time, instead of anger, Karen felt panic. "You have to do something now." "Okay." He turned and walked up to the cage. "What are you doing?" "You said help." "I'm still naked. Look at the damn wall." He raised his gaze to meet hers. "Kaz, I can't help you if I can't see. I won't look, okay? Here." Tugging a blanket off the top of the bed, he shoved it through the cage bars. "Wrap yourself up in that." Karen stared at him. "Take it then." She did, and wound it round her body. Tucking the ends beneath her backside, trapped in some of the precious heat from her own body. Finally covered from her neck down, Karen relaxed a tiny amount. Pete smiled. Several of the wrinkles in his forehead vanished, even his shoulders straightened. Before Karen had time to consider his reaction, she saw him bend and start picking at the edges of the cage. "What are you doing?" "This isn't welded," he murmured. "It's screws, look. And this is the hinge for the door." "Where does Dan keep his tools?" "No idea." He stared at her. "What, this isn't my house? How the hell should I know?" "You're not making this easy." "Oh, I'm sorry. Next time I'll just keep a handy toolbox under the bed." Pete straightened and looked at the cage. His gaze slid to hers. "That's probably not a bad idea, Kaz," he murmured. She was still pondering what he meant as he left the room. Hugging herself beneath the comfy blanket, Karen watched the second hand make its way all the way round the face of the clock. After its third pass, she heard Pete's steps on the stairs again. When he came back into the room, he held up 3 different knives. One of these should work. Karen watched him. Though he handled the knives with care and skill, she couldn't help but notice how much his fingers were shaking. He discarded the first 2 knives and used the third, a thin paring knife with a solid blade. Soon, the sound of grinding metal chased away the soft hiss of their breathing. "Pete? What? Ow! Fuck!" Pete reared up with his index finger gripped in his fist. Blood welled through the gaps in his fingers. "Sorry. I didn't mean to make you jump. Are you okay?" "I'll live. What's wrong?" "I just wanted to know if you're okay. You're shaking." "No, I'm not." Karen frowned. Your hands were..." "I'm fine," he snapped. "Look, I can get you out with the knife, but it's not fast." "They'll be back soon." "Then you need to think. Where are Dan's tools? I need a proper screwdriver." For several seconds, Karen couldn't speak. She stared at Pete and the dark expression he wore. His blood dripped down his hairy forearm and slid off the end of his elbow to make a tiny pool on the floor. The carpet sucked it up. "You could try the kitchen drawers," she said at last. "He fixed a shelf the other day. Maybe it's down there." "Thanks." "Are you sure you're okay?" Her question chased his retreating back as he once more aimed for the door. "I'm fine." He didn't look back. Shortly after, Karen heard the muffled crashes and bangs of rifled kitchen drawers. Then the front door opened a second time. "Hey babe, I'm home." And that was part 3 of Slippers and Chains. Karen says, help me. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're looking forward to next week's episode. As ever, if you have any comments you'd like to make or any questions, I'm happy to answer them. In fact, I love answering questions, so leave me a comment in the stream below and I'll see what I can do for you. Until next time, I'll say thank you and good night.